Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. My name's Owen French. I'm a healer, I'm an intuitive reader, I'm a mentor, I'm a poet, and I'm an author, and I'm also a counselor. My talk for today is my journey, your journey, our journey. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel that it can help someone on their path. And just like me, we have so many experiences, even from we was young, from the family we was born into, that's a journey in itself. When we go to school, that's another journey. So there's so many journeys which we are on from the moment we are born. And, which can define who we are or who we're not, basically. So I'd just like to share my story, and hopefully it can give anybody who's just starting to awaken up to themselves, to their truth, to their own life, it can give them some insight and help them along the way. And for those who's already on their journey, you must see some similarities to what experiences you've had as well. So with any story, it's best to start from the beginning. And my first experience, I should say, when I say that, of energy or connecting was when I was around about 6 years old. And I was at home playing with my toys, as you do. And I remember my mum and her friends were sitting around the dining table and they were just having just a normal talk. And they're just discussing things, what happened when they was younger, etc. And the topic got onto one of my uncles and what car he was driving. And I remember they couldn't remember what car it was or what type of make of car it was as well. I remember I was still just playing with my cars, just in my own business. And just like that, I said, oh, it was a turquoise car, a Chevrolet. And I remember just carrying on with playing with my toys and everything. And the room just went quiet. I remember the room going quiet. And it's only after a few seconds that I looked up. And when I looked up, I noticed that my mum and her friends were staring at me. And I thought that was kind of strange, being a child. I just looked up and thought, what's going on? So my mum turned and faced me and she said, how do you know? How did you know that? And I said, know what? I just kept on playing my toys. So she asked me again and she said, how did you know that about your uncle's car? And I said, I just shrugged, I don't know, it just came out. And everybody just kept on staring at me. And the reason why they're staring at me because my uncle had this car before I was born. And he got rid of it before I was born. So how was I meant to know? So that was one of my first experiences of, you could say, clairvoyance, tapping into energy without even knowing, My second experience was, I come from a large family. I'm the seventh of 7 boys. And my 2 eldest were still in Jamaica at the time, in the 60s. And my mum had to go back and bring them over. So, especially in those days, there was a lot of large families. So no one could really take in 5 boys. So my mum had to replace us in a home, which was hard for her. It was hard. But for me and my brothers, for some reason, it was like an adventure, So I went into the home with my brother Fred and my other 3 brothers. That was Linford, Tony, and Ruby went into another home. And for one, it was Guy Fawkes Day. It was, bonfire night. And I was about 6 again, I think. Yeah, I say about 6. And I was in the dormitory. And I was looking out the window watching, the older guys around the bonfire, letting off fireworks and everything. Being a youngster, we had to just be in the dorm at that time. And I remember I had this strong sensation, strong energy feeling, so now I can say energy because now I understand it better. And where my dog was situated is directly opposite the dormitory door. I remember turning around from the window and sort of on my knees, walking to the end of my bed and just put my hands on the frame. And I kept on staring at the door, and all of a sudden, a energy shape of someone walked through the door, walked straight towards me, towards the end of my bed. I wasn't afraid. I knew who it was, even though I didn't know how I knew who it was, but I knew it was my brother. I could tell from the shape as well, it was my brother. And we was having a communication. I'm not sure what was being said or whether it was just telepathic, but we was having a communication. I remember smiling and feeling good, you know, just there and just talking. And the funny thing was, it was many years later that we was talking about this experience when we was, you know, placed into the home. And I remember my brother saying, yeah, he was so worried about me, you know, he was so worried. And he said he was thinking about me really strongly and a lot. And I remember saying to him, you know what, I remember. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, it was on bonfires night. And I said, I was on my bed looking out the window, the same story I just told you. And I said, this energy being came through the door, and we both looked at each other, and we just like both just, you know, it was a very tearful moment because we both knew it was true. And we both knew that, you know, unconsciously, my brother sent his energy essence to look over me, you know, sort of like distance healing, etc. So he sent his, you know, his energy to me to make sure I was okay, to watch over me. And that was my first experience of energy, working with energy support, second experience. And again, the thing is, it's so magical because when you look back on certain experiences or moments in your life, you realize that you've always been connected to energy, to the source, to yourself, you know, and part of this journey is to reconnect, totally to reconnect, you know, because we have so many distractions along the way. Like I say, the family you're born into, you know, the family's upbringing, you know, the way of life, so to speak. And then you go to school, and that's another journey, you know. You start interacting with other people, you start learning about different beliefs and, you know, ideologies, so to speak, or just general, you know, thoughts and feelings, you know. So you just open yourself up to so many different paths all at once, and there's so many different journeys in learning to interact with girls, you know, to talk to girls, and, you know, to learn different lessons, you know, whatever it was a journey. So it was amazing that, you know, you're having all these experiences. Well, for me, I'm having all these experiences along the way. And I always felt different. I was seeing joy lying on the floor, just looking up at the clouds. You know, there was so much joy, you know, just looking up, you know, just lying there like Snoopy. And it's such a warm feeling. It's such a warm feeling here. And I really enjoyed my own space, my own time, and, you know, just doing my thing and, you know, just going off to the country, especially when I got older, you know, when I got to about 14, 15, I started to go to see my uncles around, you know, England. They lived like in Leeds and Yorkshire, you know, and Stoke, you know, different areas. I used to go. I just loved getting away, getting on the coach, and it just felt, I think it was the freedom. And again, I didn't really have that understanding when I say about the freedom of self. So, but it felt so good. It felt so liberating. So yeah, every time I used to just travel, get away, I used to go to the cinema on my own. You know, people say, how can you go to the cinema on your own? And I said, well, you know, it's cool. You know, I just go, see a movie, relax, you know, in my space. You know, I went with friends as well. So I wasn't alone. I had great friends, beautiful time in the family, a lot of jokes and everything. But there was something about my own space, my own time, which was very important. Yeah, very important. So, again, there was another lesson which after a while you catch up to yourself and you start to understand why you had your own space and everything. Because for me, when I think of it now, it was about energy and people around you and what you was picking up. So again, when I was 14 and 15, when I say the connecting energy really kicked in. I recall one summer's day, came up my home. I was happy as Larry, skipping down the road, you could say, you know, like Bambi, and feeling really good. Gonna meet friends, we're gonna hang out, have a good time. And as I started walking down the road, this intense feeling of dread came over me, and I couldn't understand what was going on because I knew I was okay. Like beautiful breakfast, I'd see you later, Mark. I was out ready to hang with the boys. Intense feeling of dread, and I didn't know where it was coming from. So every step I was taking, it just got more and more tense. And this is when I was living in Peckham, and I was heading to the high street. So when I think of it now, it's because I was interacting with a lot of people, I was passing a lot of people, I was picking up a lot of people's emotions, but I did not know. So this went on for quite a while, and I used to think, am I going crazy? But I knew I wasn't. I knew I was here for a reason. And I knew I was here to help people, but I didn't know in what capacity. Oh, I definitely knew that for sure. And even from a young age, people, even my mom and friends would say, people just gravitate to you. They just share their stories, they share their personal life with you. They feel comfortable talking to you. And this was a trait I've always had. But again, other people saw this. I didn't see this myself. I mean, I just saw myself as just being me. So all these different experiences of the energy, like I said, sitting on a bus and my bus stop was coming up, and this, like I say, intense fear or anxiousness came in, and I didn't get off. I had to go 2 stops past my stop to build up the courage to get off the bus. So again, we're having so many of these beautiful experiences, and along the way, connecting with spirit, guiding us, and sometimes, you hear little whispers into me. And it just, you just sort of dismiss it. You think, oh, what's that coming from? Because in a lot of cultures, even through movies and stuff, they show that connecting with spirit is kind of something to do with demonic or it's evil and everything. So again, there was no information, as far as I was aware, there was no information or there's no guidance there for someone to say, hey, this is what you're experiencing. I didn't even think about talking to anybody about it because I just thought it was something I had to keep to myself. And I know a lot of people saw me as very different, even when we used to go out as well. My friends would be just saying anything, any kind of craziness to the girls, and they will be laughing, lapping it up, and I'll be there. Oh, so what do you like? What do you like to do? What do you want to do? After you leave school, and they'll be looking at me like, why are you asking me all these questions? So in my eyes, I was thinking, well, isn't that how you get to know someone? But I started to feel crazy. Not crazy, I also think there's something wrong with me, there's something where I talk. And so again, little things like that made me sort of withdraw into myself, sort of unconsciously. So I was thinking maybe there's something wrong with me, the way I'm doing things. So I sort of withdrew part of myself into me, and I realized that it would take a long time for me to pull that back out again, But I sort of put myself deep into self-isolation for no reason. And it's just later on again, I came across an advert for psychic circles. And attending the psychic circle, I didn't know what to expect, who I'd meet there and everything. But it was one of the best decisions ever. And the funny thing was, I kept on seeing this advert for Psychic Circle for months, say over a year. I just looked at it and thought, because I really didn't have the understanding. But once I went, that's when my life turned around, totally. I met some amazing, beautiful people, beautiful friends who are friends now. And that was over 12 years ago, I think, 15 years ago, mostly. And, we're still friends today. And what was amazing is that it felt like I came home. It felt like I came home, because it felt so right sitting in this beautiful group of people who's sharing similar experiences, of what they've experienced on their journey. You know, the same thing with energy, visions, you know, dreams as well. You know, it was just amazing. And, you know, just sitting there and, you know, we linked hands and we just did meditations together. And it just went, whoosh, the energy just rose. And just connecting, you know, to spirit, to myself, you know, to fellow brothers and sisters was such a liberating experience. And from that moment, things just started to open up. And yeah, just really, I started to breathe again. I started to breathe again. And I remember I had one, you know, I had a dream like a couple of days after joining the circle. It was in the house we was living in Lewisham, and there was a knock at the front door. So I ran down to my front door, and when I opened it, there was two native Indians standing there, and they looked at me and they said something to me, and then they both sort of just turned and beckoned past them. And when I looked past them, there was just open plains. You know, you just saw Indian, you know, the natives just riding their horses, chasing buffalo. There was, you know, just with their, you know, with their tribe just walking past and everything. And it was such a beautiful sight. And that was my first connecting to my spirit guide, Chikote. So again, it's just all these different experiences we have, which we don't actually acknowledge at the time, but when we start to think back, we can just see the pieces, you know, sort of like jigsaw pieces all come together, how we've always been looked after, we've always been guided. You know, there's always been someone who's had our back, so to speak, you know, and been, you know, leading us down the true path of who we are. So, like I say, all these experiences start to happen, and we start to share these experiences as well. And oops, sorry. We start to share these experiences as well, and more we share, the more we open and awaken, you know, to who we truly were. And that's where the battle becomes, because for years, you could say, we've been programmed, you know, for society to live this way, to look at things this way, to think a certain way. So we had to change that. And that's where the hard battle comes, because we had to let go of so much along the way. And that was so scary, truly. It was really scary. It felt like you was betraying family. It felt like you was betraying your friends. It felt like you was betraying yourself. It felt like you was letting so many people down. But the bottom line is I had to be true to myself. You know, and it took a long time. And I was fighting against it. I really was fighting against it and trying to be normal, what I thought was normal, and live, you know, society's way. And I remember one day, it was a build up of things, and where I was always there for people, supporting people, and I didn't mind that. But when it came to me doing my thing, it was sort of, it was wrong. Why are you doing this and why are you doing that? That's rubbish, and you know, things like that. And it came to a head one day where I just went, ah, you know, and from that moment I said, no more, there's no more, I'm just gonna, you know, keep appeasing people, keep just, you know, doing things for people, I'm not doing things for myself. So that's when it became a big turnaround where I started to say no, where I started to put more strong boundaries around me as well. And it took a while to really sort of get to this place where I am now. And like I say, I wouldn't change anything, because it's those experiences and all what I've, you know, what I've been through is maybe who I am today. I've always this person, but it's helped to really fine tune me to be who I am. And like along the way, you meet so many beautiful souls, so many people, you know, who's having a similar journey. There's people who are much older and they're sharing their story. So it just opened me up to say, well, this has been going on for far much longer than I realized, from, you know, say, from the beginning of days. And the beautiful thing is people start pushing you, they start supporting you, they see the beautiful quality, the light within you. And sometimes we might not see these qualities ourselves. We know there's a little bit there, but we might not see how huge it is. So they push us and say, you can do this, you know. And within the circle, which I mentioned earlier, a friend of mine, Anne Marie, she decided she was going to set up her own circle. So, you know, three of us from the old circle went to her new circle. And it was great. She was a fantastic teacher, you know, totally fantastic, very on point. And it's a beautiful experience. And then when it came to one day, she came to me about a couple of years later out during the circle, and she said, "Oh, I would like you to be a teacher at the circle." And the fair grew. I was doing Michael Jackson's moonwalk, you know, to get away, so to speak. And she said, "No, I really want you to be a teacher." And I said, "Well, who am I to teach? You know, who am I to teach people, you know, psychic development, connecting with spirit, you know?" And again, this was the doubt which was within me, and this was the doubt which I allowed to be projected onto me, which I held. Because as much as other people projecting their fears and their, you know, their beliefs, whatever, onto you, you know, we have a choice whether we accept it or not. So I soaked up so much energy. I'm not blaming these people because everybody's in their own place. Everybody's dealing with their own issues, their own lives, so to speak. Sometimes people can't see the effect they're having on you with the words they use. So, yeah, again, this was part of my journey of releasing that doubt, releasing that fear, stepping into my power, trusting me, believing that spirit is with me, believing that my higher self is going to guide me to the best way possible. So upon, you know, taking on the mantle, you know, as teacher, at first, you know, it was very daunting. I was, oh my gosh, I was sitting in front of people I was sitting next to, you know, a couple of weeks ago. So it felt funny because it didn't feel right. It felt like, I'm doing something wrong, you know. But as time went on, I gradually adjusted to the different frequency because that's what it was. That's what it was. It was a different frequency which I was adjusting to. And again, it was very liberating because I could feel what I thought was fear, but again, it was a build-up of energy, a spirit building this energy up to work with me so I can work with my fellow students, you know. So it opened me up even more, and I really embraced that. I really did. And we all had a great time, and that's the thing, because what I didn't realize, it was shown to my fellow students, my fellow friends and everything, that they too can move on to bigger and better things. That's what it was. It was change. As much as it was, you know, when I say it was scary for me, it was scary for them. When I say it might have been a bit strange or scary for them as well, because this change taking place. I was once there, but now I'm here. So even though you may be sitting as a student, you will in turn become a teacher with a lot of people around you. So the support of people around you, and this is why I'm sitting here for your dear friend Priscilla, you know, who kind of throws you in and says, "Go and get on with it," you know, because she sees the qualities in a lot of people, in people. I shouldn't say a lot of people, in people, and she wants to raise your spirit up. So this is again how amazing our journey is, you know, of learning, of awakening, of truth, of understanding as well. So all these experiences have made me who I am today. And for me, sitting here now, when you say like feel the fear, but do it anyway. When I think is it fear, it's not the fear. I realize whatever I do, I want to do with the utmost integrity. I want to raise people up with truth. You know, I don't want to just say anything. And, you know, I want to speak the words which is going to touch people's soul, which is going to help them to see the light within themselves, you know, so they can go on the journey, know that it's okay. People may fall away. This is the experience a lot of people have had where family and friends have fallen away because they've become true to themselves, not being disrespectful, but just living their life. So this may possibly happen, but it's not to say that you're not going to reconnect later on down the line. It just means that you have to follow your own true path. And, you know, a lot of people talk about the matrix when they say choose the red pill or the blue pill, you know, for truth or illusion. And this is what we have to do. You know, we do have to decide for ourselves what is our truth, you know. And if we choose to follow an illusion of some kind of life, then that is our choice too. But you have to ask yourself which way is going to make you the most happiest. So this is my journey when I say about, you know, just really just connecting to myself and, you know, facing fears and doubts and everything. And think, oh my God, more? You know, because there's so many different layers to us, you know. And, you know, as a dear friend spoke about, you know, the masks we wear. There's so many masks we wear, but there's so many layers as well, you know, where we live in so many different lives, but we don't know which is our authentic life. So this is the path we're on. So a lot of the experience we have, which may have really hurt us, is really beautiful opportunities to look at what really matters to us. Whether someone left you or you got fired from a job, you know, you hear those stories, someone gets fired from a job and then they develop an idea and they become very successful. So it's just about how we look at it. Sometimes, as hard as it is, we have to, excuse me, step out of the box and look at the picture, you know, from a third party view, you know, and then you get so much clarity and insight, you know. And if you think back at a lot of your experiences, you see so much blessings within them, you know, about who you are, you know what I mean? Like that situation wasn't good for you, so you let it go. So like I say, the journey is, it is an amazing journey, it really is, because when you start connecting more and more to spirit and source, and you really start seeing as well, you see them just clearly, you know. You look at nature, you look at the trees, you just look at a butterfly flying, and you think, oh, wow, you know, it's that connection to love. And I feel they say, you know, as a child, we're so open that as we get older, we lose sight of that natural ability which is within us. But I feel for a lot of us, you know, I mean, when I speak for myself, I feel that I unconsciously held on to my inner child. And I feel that is why the way I was reacting or living my life, I had that inner child quality strongly still. You know what I mean? It's not saying it's not there for everybody, but I feel I just held more onto that essence without knowing. Because, you know, I just looked at everything as, oh, that's beautiful. I just saw everybody was beautiful. And but then that got knocked out of me through society. But then I allowed it. So I'm covering the blame society or people around me, but because I allowed it. So I have to take responsibility for that. But again, the return, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, fabulous. It's just fabulous, you know. And like I say, that's my journey, you know. It's my journey of awakening, reconnecting to myself, and not feeling guilty for living my life. That's one of the biggest things. Feeling guilty, you know, doing readings and healing with people. It's just this, you know, unwanted guilt we hold on to, of just being ourselves or speaking, you know, our beliefs, so to speak. And like I say, keep things simple. And, you know, if you're not hurting anybody, if you're just talking, why should you hold back who you are? You know, it doesn't make sense. So, yeah, the journey is beautiful. You know, it'll feel uncomfortable at times and everything, because again, we have to let go some different layers of life, society, thinking, upbringing, etc., until we come to the core essence of who you are, you know. So when I come onto your journey now, when I say like your journey may be similar in aspects to mine, you know, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And especially in this day and age, there's so much information, there's a wealth of information, you know, on spirituality and growth and mediumship, whichever way you want to go into. You know, there's so much information, there's so many groups out there, so it's easy to tap into knowledge now, more now, I'd say, and to connect with other people. You know, to say, okay, you know, where do I go for this advice? There's so many talks out there, And again, that is just what's so magnificent, because there's so many people who have awakened to themselves, you know, to themselves. And even though they've awakened to themselves, we're all unified. That's the amazing thing, you know. Everybody's, you know, looking at their own awakening, breaking free, and then saying, so, no, this is who I am. You know, I'm a yoga teacher. You know, I'm a tantric master. You know, I'm an energy healer. You know, whatever it is, everybody's just being true to themselves, and they're sharing this knowledge with other people to help not only ourselves to heal, but the planet to heal as well. So the vibration has been risen by all of us. Even if people's not awakened, everybody's playing a part in the evolution of Earth. Everything that's going on right now is about the evolution of Earth and the people. We have to evolve. We can't just be still. And this is what's taking place. What's taking place for me in my eyes is that things are just falling away so people can see, you know, and really make their own decisions from that. So all of us, you know, your journey is just as important as my journey. It's no different. You know, it's all about us just sharing and waking up to each other and waking up to who we are and moving forward. And that's what's so, again, when I say it's just so heartfelt, because we all can just, when you open up to yourself, you're just living your life, you're living your truth, and that's magical. So every time you wake up, the gratitude you have for the simplest things, you know, because you appreciate this opening your eyes, you appreciate being able to just go to the kitchen and have a glass of water. You know, the simplest things, what, you know, when we say we took for granted, we really appreciate. We appreciate the chair we're sitting, you know. Everything has got energy, everything carries energy. So there's so much love, there's so much happiness, so much joy around us, everything. Even the dreams, everywhere you look is someone's dream. You know, the laptop you're watching me on is someone's dream to put that together. The seat is sitting on, someone had a dream to make that chair. So whatever dream you have, follow it, go for it. Don't hold back, you know. People want to support you, people are supporting you. You're not alone. And as we all come together, again, you know, because we are all waking up and all sharing that love, we're all doing these beautiful meditations to help heal the earth, help heal each other. You know, the vibration is really rising and just helping everybody to walk and stand tall, you know, and be free. It's about liberation. When we're free here, then we can be free totally, completely, everywhere. And we're all supporting each other to be the best that we can be, you know, because we know who we are in here and here. So that's why we all come together. The journey is important because it strengthens you. It strips away what doesn't serve you, you know. And it's only hard when we fight against that change, when we fight against the journey or the path we know we're meant to be on. And it's okay. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel alone. It's okay, you know, to feel lost and everything. And when I say it's okay, I'm saying that we all experience this. We all experience this at some point in our lives, and we still do it now and again. Some people creep in, but because we're conscious, we're more aware of our feelings and triggers as well, you know, because that will rise. Triggers is things what make you feel funny, you know. If you go to do a talk like what I'm doing, the trigger might be, who do you think you are? You know, good at doing things. That trigger might try and creep in to stop you or prevent you from moving forward. So it's just having that understanding of triggers and yourself and whose energy you're holding on to, basically. So again, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself too hard. Just look at it as a life lesson, you know. Just ask yourself, where is that feeling coming from? Why is it coming up now? You know, what word did you use? You know, it could be a word that someone else used back in the day to make you feel bad. So again, just, you know, just enjoy yourself, surround yourself with beautiful souls, with people who, you know, is there for you, you know, who's going to raise you up, you know, who's going to tell you the truth, you know, and says like, no, maybe you need to look at this more clearly, you know, to guide you, It's not about attacking, it's just about supporting. So we're all here to, you know, to be free. We're here to experience. You know, we're here to raise other people up. When we look behind, see someone's fallen, you raise them up, bring them with you. You know, sometimes they might fight against it. You know, but you know, you just let them know that you're around here and there, just to help them up if they need to talk. You know, you're there. You know, just raise people up. And think back at times when someone's raised you up, or just been there to say, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going?" You know, simple words can just make someone just come alive again. So all we have to do, you know, is just be true to ourselves with love. You know, that's what they say, love and light. You know, the light just illuminates, you know, what's going on around you and everything. You know, it's just about just being true and just moving forward and knowing that it's okay. It really is okay, you know, and just know that the journey holds so many surprises. You never know where it's going to take you, or you know who it's going to introduce you to. You could just go into the shop and you know you just end up talking to someone who's setting up, you know, a group, you know, to do healing. Oh wow, you know, because sometimes you might put that out to the universe, and then they put people in your place. You know, they do put people in your place to say, okay, this person, I see them. This person is a publisher if you're writing a book. You know, you never know. So that's why I say the signs are always there. Always. Whether it's in music, whether it's in movies, you know, magazines, or even just a word you hear from people talking. You know, the signs are always there. We ask for guidance and they always give us guidance. They always do. That's why when we become more awake and aware of the energy and science and everything, we see things up more clearly. So that's why I just say, you know, always, you know, just like when, you know, this journey is about learning, and it's no different from when you went to school, you know, when you went to, yeah, when you went to school, to college, to uni, or starting a new job. You know, you felt afraid at first, and then, you know, you got used to being in that environment. You know, you got used to the people you're working with or learning with, you know. And this is what the journey is about. It's the same thing. You're just adjusting to a different arena of learning, you know what I mean? And, you know, resources, like I say, it's all around us. You could be sitting in a park, you know, and you see a squirrel come running down, you know, and just gather up the nuts and take it up and store it, you know. And you watch that, and it's like a simple action or motion or, you know, way of life for the squirrel. But when you look at it deeper, the squirrel is just, it's collecting what it needs. It's collecting what it needs. Maybe not right for now, but for later. And this is what the journey is. We're collecting what we need to be whole within ourselves. Whole within ourselves. So every experience we have is an opportunity to learn. But when we're caught up in the energy of what's happening, sometimes we don't see what the message is. You know, because our inner vision is hindered by the intensity of the energy of what's taking place. So again, I'll just say, you know, the journey is really beautiful, and we're here to just love each other. We're here to raise each other up. We're here to learn from each other. You know, because everybody's got something to offer. Every race has something to offer, and we can all just learn from each other. And we can learn from each other and just be whole as a people, as a nation, as a race, as a planet. We all can just be whole. As I say, we are one, and we are. We just have to see that and just keep it simple, you know, and just live our life and move forward. So I hope, you know, you got something out of this talk, and I've really enjoyed doing this. This is my first talk, so I've really enjoyed doing this. I'm looking forward to doing many more. But what I'd like to do, I'd like to leave you with one of my poems. So hopefully, you know, you like this. So this poem is called Liberate Your Mind. I liberate my mind so that I can see. I liberate my mind so that my soul can be free. The mind will play tricks if you just allow it to be. Unburden your thoughts, unleash your true essence, your divine inspired creativity. Liberation of our minds is the right choice for you and me. Liberation on all levels is what we all need to do. Freedom of our hearts and consciousness, blessing us with all things, loving, strong and true. Liberate your mind, Radiant One, I ask you. How are you feeling today? What will you do? Liberate your mind and simply be you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with me. And once again, have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And much love. Namaste from Seventh Son, healthy. May love and peace be with you always.